I'm going to introduce you to some JavaScript and jQuery. Remember when I described the web as having three distinct layers? The HTML provides the structure. The CSS is how we can dress our website up and design it in all sorts of ways. And the JavaScript is how we can create advanced interactivity and behavioral enhancements. JavaScript is one of the most used languages in the web these days, and it's widely considered one of the front-end web developers' arsenal of commonly used tools. JavaScript is a lightweight client scripting language which is used to make web pages interactive. A client scripting language is one that runs on the user's machine and not on the server. This is different from many other programming languages out there. JavaScript allows us to calculate, validate, and manipulate the web page data. In addition, it can insert dynamic text into HTML and CSS. Simply put, JavaScript is a dynamic programming language for the web which can be used to update both HTML and CSS. It also performs all the logic so that you can do validations, calculations, and manipulation of data. As a dynamic programming language, JavaScript doesn't need to be run through any form of compiler that interprets our human-readable code into something the browser can understand. The browser effectively reads the code the same way we do and interprets it on the fly. We use JavaScript because it provides the behavioral layer. It adds interactivity to our web pages and allows us to build more dynamic web pages. It's well supported across the web. And it's easy to learn compared to other scripting languages. So what about jQuery? Well, what is that? jQuery is a JavaScript library. A JavaScript library is a collection of pre-written functions and methods that you can use in your scripts to accomplish common tasks or simplify complex ones. jQuery is a fast, lightweight, and feature-rich JavaScript library that is based on the principle write less, do more. Its easy-to-use APIs makes the things like HTML document traversal and manipulation, event handling, adding animation effects to a web page much more simpler, and it works seamlessly across all the major browsers. jQuery also gives us the ability to create an AJAX-based application in a quick and simple way. Big companies like Google, Microsoft, and IBM are using jQuery for their applications, so you can easily understand how popular and powerful jQuery is. jQuery was originally created by John Resig in early 2006. The jQuery project is currently run and maintained by a distributed group of developers as an open source project. You can save a lot of time and effort by using jQuery. There are a lot of things you can do with jQuery, and here's just a small sampling. You can easily select elements to perform manipulation. You can easily create effects like show or hide elements or sliding transitions. You can create complex CSS animations, usually using fewer lines of code. You can easily manipulate DOM elements and their attributes. You can implement AJAX to enable asynchronous data exchange between client and server. You can traverse all around the DOM tree to locate any element. You can perform multiple actions on an element with a single line of code. And you can easily get or set dimensions of HTML elements. The list does not end here. There are many other interesting things that you can do with jQuery, but this just gives you a small idea. If you're not familiar with jQuery, you might be wondering what makes jQuery so special. There are several advantages of why you should opt for using jQuery. You can save a lot of time and effort by using the jQuery inbuilt effects and selectors and concentrate on other development work. jQuery considerably simplifies the common JavaScript tasks. Now you can easily create feature-rich and interactive web pages with fewer lines of code. A typical example is implementing AJAX to update the content of a page without refreshing it. jQuery is easy to use. Anybody with a basic working knowledge of HTML and CSS can start developing with jQuery. jQuery has been created with modern browsers in mind, and it is compatible with all the major modern browsers out there. If you ask anyone what their favorite thing about jQuery is, the answer you'll most likely receive is the number of useful plugins that jQuery offers. it's impossible to count all of the useful plugins in the jQuery ecosystem. Since jQuery has been around for so many years, developers have had time to build and maintain it for a long time. And the best part about jQuery is it's completely free to download and use. So now that I've hopefully piqued your interest, let's go ahead and learn more about how we can incorporate jQuery into our projects. That's coming up next.